So in the past couple of days, the Packers named who is going to be their new president once Mark Murphy retires next season, and that is Ed Policy. Ed Policy has been with the Packers for a little over a decade, and he is going to become the Packers' next president next July. And Andrew Brandt, who used to work with the Packers, he used to be the Vice President of Player Finance and General Counsel starting in 1999 for the Packers and was there for a while. And in his role, he negotiated all player contracts, he managed the salary cap, and then handled all business-related football operations. And so he spoke with Ross Tucker on Ross Tucker's football podcast earlier today and shared some thoughts on new Packers president Ed Policy and sort of his thought around the Packers moving to a new president. And I thought, considering Andrew Brandt, has some history with the Packers in the front office around these kinds of things, I found it interesting what he has to say, and so I want to share that here with you guys. And Andrew Brandt starts off here talking about the president's role in Green Bay.
This is the person that represents the Packers in league governance. This is the person that represents the Packers in any vote that the NFL takes, and of course oversees the operation in Green Bay. It's a big news. I'll get to Ed in a minute. I do think that the important thing people should know is that Packers have a structure where it's a real difference to football, and I don't think that is changing. So Ed Policy is the general counsel of the Green Bay Packers as we sit here today. He'll ascend on July 2025. But, I was general counsel too, Ross, but my role was football general counsel. So I did every player contract, negotiated, managed our salary cap, dealt with player issues, player grievances, injuries, disputes, things like that, replaced by a guy named Russ Ball. Policy was more like the council that dealt with our deals with local politics, sponsorship and licensing, Lambeau Stadium issues, real estate, Titletown, sort of a more corporate council point of view. And I bring that up to say that, again, the Packers are not picking any kind of quote-unquote football person to be their president CEO, which tells me it will continue to be a football-first autonomy there. In other words, whether it was Ron Wolf, Ted Thompson, and now Brian Gutekunst, they all have great autonomy to do what they need to do and want to do for the football operation. I don't think Bob Harlan, Mark Murphy, Ed Policy has or will interfere with the football operation. They come from a different background, an administrative, corporate, business background. So I don't think a lot's going to change in sort of how the Packers operate with this new change.
So I think that's a good sign that Brandt believes the Packers aren't going to change the way they operate. Their presidents haven't really been super involved in the football side of things. They sort of allow their GMs to manage all of that. And I think that's a wise move to let, Brian Gutekunst do his job, and he doesn't have an owner over him, of course, in Green Bay, because Green Bay does not have, one owner like every other NFL team. Brian Gutekunst gets to, do what he sees fit with this roster. It doesn't really have anyone interfering with him in that way. And I think that, looking at different owners around the league, like people like Jerry Jones, he has a lot of say in what happens there in Dallas, even if, different decision makers don't maybe think what he wants to do is the best idea. They still have to go through with things like that because Jerry Jones is the owner. And I, for one, if I was an owner of an NFL team, I feel like it'd be very hard not to be involved with things, because we all, as Packers fans, NFL fans, have opinions on everything. And it would be very fun to own an NFL team and be able to just make whatever decision you want, and overrule people and say, you know what, we're drafting this guy. But at the end of the day, sometimes that doesn't always work out, the best. And so I'm just glad the Packers brought someone in who was in the organization, understands how things work, and it looks like it's going to continue. The Packers are going to operate sort of as they always have. And, if there was some other guy coming in who wanted to get more involved in the football side, I guess that would be okay if, they've shown a history of having success and they understand all that. But it sounds like, the president coming in here, Ed Policy, is going to continue to do what, guys like Mark Murphy and people before him did. So just wanted to share that with you. If you want more Packers content, feel free to subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys next time.